Well, good evening. Wasn't that a good way to start a concert? Yes. Very excited to be here tonight. So, at Christmas, we had a chance to refer to these young ladies and gentlemen on the stage as beginners. And it dawned on me after many, many years of doing this, after you've played your first concert, you are no longer a beginner. You are now intermediate. So we'll call them the intermediate band. The first tune that we played is called Liturgical Fanfare. I've done that with many clinics in the past, written by a gentleman by the name of Robert W. Smith that passed a couple of years ago, and he was fantastic for writing music at all levels of public school. So we've enjoyed that. One of the things that I wanted to try to play for you tonight, per request, and in my 36 years of doing this, I've never been asked to do a song. 4 years ago, there was a new show that came out on television that people were super excited about. The title of the show was Yellowstone. So we took a group and we had one of our band directors write part of Yellowstone. Well, I've been at the baseball park, like many of you, and I had people ask, hey, when are you going to play Yellowstone again? So we thought, well, this is the last season. The first edition that we did Yellowstone, I wore a straw hat. But it seems like, since this is the end of Yellowstone, it'd be more appropriate to wear a black hat. So I will put my hat on, and we're going to do, I think we have some hats. Do we have some hats in the band? Oh, yes, we do. Very good. Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to play Yellowstone that was written and kind of arranged by Mr. Hale, our percussion instructor, and Mr. Thompson, our high brass instructor. It's short, but we hope you enjoy it. Did you recognize the song? Good. I'm going to take this off now because it's awful hot up here. Here, I'll just leave it right here. Okay. So I should go ahead while I'm here. The end of the season, as you know, the band has had tremendous success this year. I don't want to steal Mr. Sanders' thunder, but last year was bronze. This year was silver. So hopefully, next year will be extremely positive. This is how it happens right here because of these young people right here. So we're going to play, the next two selections we're going to play for you are, they don't know this, but it is above the level that they should be playing. This next selection that you're going to hear is called Wrath of the Mechanical Monsters. And I think when you will hear the mechanical monsters, but you'll hear the level of difficulty. So we hope you enjoy Wrath of the Mechanical Monsters. Thank you, thank you. Could you tell it's a little tougher song? Yeah, a little tougher song. We enjoyed it. Last year, I got to give credit to Mrs. Thompson. Last year, she found Mechanical Monsters, and then she found Wrath of the Mechanical Monsters. And so while I'm giving credit, it's hard to believe, I saw Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, there's Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown was principal when I first came here. And it's guys and people like Mr. Brown that have supported the program, our administration, our school board members, the principals that work so closely with us to make sure that scheduling works so that we have our students at the time that we need to have our students. We've been in testing all week, and our administrators have made it possible so that these young people who never meet together have the opportunity to meet together so that 140 people can do the same thing at the same time. That's important to us, and we appreciate everyone that has been a part of that. But mostly, we appreciate the parents for allowing these young people to be in our program. I do want you to know as well that these young people will not only be involved in band. We hope that they'll be involved in band 6 through 12. They can do in Atlanta, Texas, more than one thing. They can be a cheerleader, they can be an athlete, they can be in band, they can do theater, they can be in art. They have many choices. I can prove that because I'm also the head golf coach. And 18 of my band kids are in the golf program. So I know they can do both because we meet every day all year long. So it is very doable. We have football players, cheerleaders, everything that goes on in the school, these young people are involved in. And we appreciate you supporting that and helping us make that happen. Also, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Hale, Mr. Thompson, and Mrs. Thompson. This doesn't happen, any of these programs do not happen without your support and helping me teach these young people how to play. And you're going to hear it get better all day. Also, I've never done this. I've got 2 grandchildren. This is kind of different. When I met Mr. Brown, I had hair and I was young, and that all went away. And that's not his fault, that's my fault. But I have 2 grandkids in this program. I've gone through 5. My 6th one's in 4th grade. But I also have my wife who puts up with me every day and has supported me doing this. So I appreciate my grandchildren, my family for letting me do this. So we want to close with what we think is most appropriate. They're going to move to another grade. They're going to go to 7th or 8th grade. And anytime royalty moves from one point to the other, you got to prepare the castle. So the title of this is Ready the Castle. So these young people are moving to 7th and 8th grade, and we're going to get their castle ready. So here is their graduation song, if you will, Ready the Castle. Okay, just a quick announcement. You need to know where to get them. I know that. We are going to have them exit. I'm going to get Kyson to help. Kyson, they're going to go out that back door. They're going to walk around the outside, and the courtyard area that's over here, that's where they're going to come through, and we're going to let them come into the glass doors and come down the high school hall. So if you want to meet them, if you need to go, we understand there's lots of activities. If you're staying, please come back in. Mr. Thompson will have a great program. You'll enjoy it a lot. Thank you again. We really enjoyed playing for you guys. Okay, tuba player. Tuba, don't follow Tyson. Let him finish. Hey, what do you think?
Oh, there we are. All right. Welcome to the AMS concert band portion of the concert tonight. I want to welcome everybody here. Busy time of year. Thank you for taking a little bit of your time to come spend a little bit of time with us tonight playing some music. That first tune was called Groovy 8. And if you're my age or older and you remember the Austin Powers movies, it kind of sounded familiar to that. It's supposed to imitate maybe the funk disco era of the 70s. We are going to continue our concert with Troll King. It's with saxophone soloist Levi Cook. I'm just kidding. All right, so here we are, the Troll King. All right. That one's actually our most challenging piece. It's in a key that really isn't all that friendly for young musicians, and it's got some strange notes in it that they're not normally used to playing. But from the looks of it, or the sounds of it, I think we pulled it off pretty well. We're going to close our portion of the night with a piece called Brace for Impact, and I want to say thanks again, everybody, for coming out tonight, and we hope you enjoy. This is where being able to talk a lot like Mr. B comes in handy. He's got the gift of gab. Are you good? was just making sure they were ready. Here we go. Hey, good job, guys. Hold on. We're going to release from the back first. Okay, we're going to go out that back door. Trumpets. 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 Percussion. Percussion. Percussion.
Play real quick. That's not right. Just play it second. Play it second. Second finger. It's a F sharp, right?
What do the saxophones have? Nothing? They're trying to match.
Trombones. Y'all are really sharp. You got to listen. It's hot on this stage.
Good evening, good evening. This is the Symphonic Band. If you don't know who I am, I'm Mrs. Thompson. That was Snake Charmer. It sounds very The Mummy Returns-esque. It was very fun to work on. We hope you enjoyed that. Our second tune is going to have a Latin flair to it, and it's called Rumba de la Tumba, or Rumba de la Tumba if you want my Texas accent. But so a little Latin flair, kind of reminds me of Havana, if you're familiar with that song. It's really cool, got some really neat tuba moments and woodwind moments. We hope you enjoy Rumba de la Tumba. That has to be probably one of my all-time favorites. That one was fun. That was not an easy piece. It goes from 4/4 to 3/4. It's a lot of meter changes, lots of accidentals, lots of notes, but they did that one very well. Our last piece is called Dance of the Shadows. It's kind of a high energy, in-your-face piece. And before we play it, I just want to kind of give a shout out to these guys. Especially my 8th graders. This band is mostly comprised of 8th graders. I have a few 7th graders sprinkled in. 7th graders, raise your hand. It's not many. Yeah, it's not many. So these guys are mostly 8th graders. I'm going to miss these guys a lot. Some of them have chosen to continue their band endeavor in high school, and I love that. And some have chosen to end it here, but I think they ended it on a high note tonight, pun intended. So they did very well tonight. So thank you guys. Thank you for your support. Appreciate it. I have enjoyed your kiddos. All right, I got a thumbs up. I'm waiting on percussion. Cordamian, you good? Cordamian? Cordamian's freaking out on me. Hang on, I'll give him a minute. Anybody know a good joke? Oh, it's not working. Well, I'll just continue by bragging on these kiddos. How about that? Because we all, as a parent, I like to hear that my kids act like they know how to act out in public settings. These guys are fantastic. They always have been. Oh, it was as simple as a switch. All right, here we go. We hope you enjoyed Dance of the Shadows. It has been my absolute honor. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.
Whew, all right, that's a fun one. So welcome to the high school concert band portion of this evening. So last year when we stopped going to UIL, and we were doing these concerts, we wanted to push and challenge the kids a little bit more because we don't have that that thought of like maybe not making a one or trying to play material that we feel a little more comfortable with. So that allows us to kind of open up opportunities to push the kids and give them more challenging music that they normally wouldn't see. So that first piece was entitled Witching Hour, and that is going to kind of set the tone for our program this evening. So this whole concert is kind of focused on back in time in the town of Salem, where there were issues with people being accused of witchcraft and practicing things that probably shouldn't have been. So this first song depicts that with the bell tower chiming at midnight, letting everybody know it's time to go indoors. It's not safe to be out. So this next piece is entitled Pandora, and this is where the village people are fed up and they're going on a witch hunt. So just picture torches and pitchforks and them trying to hunt out anybody who's practicing evil in the town of Salem. So I hope you guys enjoy Pandora. That is not the mic drop I intended, but either way, it happened. All right, thank you. So the next portion of our story we're telling tonight, so the angry townspeople went out, and now this next piece is entitled Not Alone. And this is going to center around some of the women, and one in particular during the time in Salem that was wrongly accused. So it's a little more somber, a little more sad. It's going to have scenes we depict of maybe her hiding, maybe family and friends are trying to keep her away from the people that have accused her of witchcraft. And then there's a trial, as we all know. That will be depicted in the middle of the piece. And then the her trial not going so well, and ... Like you can fill in the rest. And then, but the ending is hopeful as we go into our final piece, which I'll talk about once we get there. So hope you guys enjoy Not Alone. All right. And to end our story tonight, we actually have a happy ending. So I'm not going to give away the title of this tune, but it's one that everybody is familiar with. Our last piece we're going to play kind of depicts where the town of Salem, the villagers, they turned away from their fear and turned to their faith, to where they come out on the other end and kind of put all that witchcraft nonsense to the side, and the town starts a new day. So I hope you guys enjoy our closing piece entitled, You'll Have to Figure It Out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we almost waited too late, but I know some of you have bought raffle tickets from our students, which we greatly appreciate. So I say let's go ahead and do the drawing now while you're waiting, and we will get that taken care of. Ms. Emily Ransom is going to speak to you and draw. Is that correct?
Thank you. Appreciate everyone who brought a raffle ticket. And quickly, right before we do that, I just want to acknowledge our outgoing board. And we have Ms. Donna Adams, we've got Amanda Broughton, and then our president that's leaving is Bonnie Westbrook. And I just wanted to give her a little flower arrangement in honor of all of her hard work and the rest of the board as well. Our next year's board, I'll be president. We'll have Mark Stewart, and then joining us will be Jennifer Webb and Amy Stewart, and as food coordinator, and also Kimberly Charleston and Leanne Vaughn. So we'll go ahead and draw for the. Do we do the $50 first? We'll do the $50 Walmart gift card. Dig around. Oh, I know. And the $50 gift card goes to Claudia Cortez. Okay, just come find me. The $100 gift card. The $100 gift card goes to Ricardo Esquivel. I'm gonna draw one. And the $200 gift card Vanessa Nash. I believe it's Nash. Okay. We also have, on behalf of the band boosters, some gift cards to Ironwood for our 5 band directors in appreciation for their year. And we have some scholarships. Oh, they're going to open it up for the band directors? Or can we pass those out? Sorry, it's my first time. I'm just figuring it out as we go. Oh, okay. Do you want me to stand up there? Hand them up. Okay. Here, you hold these. Okay.
Before we take off in the program, we'll get the stuff. So, I presume they're on stage. Yeah. Is that okay? I'll
So, our fantastic president for the past year has been absolutely a rock star. I'll wait. Done this job without Bonnie for the last 7 years. I convinced her to come to one contest with me to give me a hand to see if she would like it, and I managed to convince her to hang out with me for the past 7 years. I'm going to miss you terribly. We're really excited and looking forward to our next year, but our outgoings have been amazing. We could not do this without their help and without our fantastic band boosters. We always have openings. Y'all come check us out in the fall.
Why don't you all sit down and me and Mark will just stand up here. You stay up here with me. Oh, wait. What's here? Give one to Miss T. No, Miss T. I'll make her
surely he won't announce anything before they play. Yes.
let him know I'm about to say. Okay, we also have 8 scholarships to award tonight on behalf of the band boosters to a few of our seniors. And I'm going to call those names. If you guys would stand when your name is called, and then just find me here at the front after the performance. We have one for Trinity Adams. Shadrach Barr. Elizabeth Batten. Madison Broughton, Anna Davis, Mackenzie Lampshire, Audrey Prestridge, and Amber Westbrook. Congratulations.
I was hoping if I didn't have a microphone, I wouldn't have to speak. Good evening, guys, and thank y'all for coming out. That was a concert march entitled Bravura. Hope you enjoyed that. We had a lot of fun working that up. We hadn't played a concert march in a couple years, and the kids kind of drug their feet at the beginning of it. They were not feeling it, but at the end, they actually were starting to enjoy it. So we hope you enjoyed that as well. Some of you noticed that I got some glasses today. So, yeah, this is the reason, because they give me a hard time every day about not being able to see stuff. But I told KJ I didn't even realize he had an afro till tonight. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that old hound dog rag. We enjoyed working on that. That was obviously a totally different style than anything else we're playing, so the kids really enjoyed working on that. This next tune we're going to play is a little pirate theme, and it's entitled Sirens. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. They did a good job with that. They really enjoyed that one as well. I think actually, and part of the reason that they do enjoy most of these that we're playing is they picked them. they had the option. I gave them choices, and these are the ones that they ended up picking. Now I'm going to be real with you for just a second. I did not think we were going to be able to play this next one. I didn't think we were going to be able to play it when I passed it out, and once again they proved me wrong. And then also this afternoon, I didn't think we were going to play it because I didn't think Grant was going to be here. And Grant has a very important part in this song, so we're glad Grant is here. I don't think he's feeling 100%, but he's here. Thank you, Grant. Next, this last tone is called Fracas. Hope you enjoy it. Guys, thank you so much for your support. Y'all have a good evening.